Hey, what's going on guys? My name is Madison Jonathan from MLC Tech. Now, Apple's heavily expected iPhone Foldable is expected to be right around the corner, looking to shake up the market that is currently occupied by the likes of Samsung, Google, Oppo, OnePlus. But today we have reports on what the price of this iPhone Foldable could look like. And if these reports are anything to go by, the iPhone Fold could launch with a base price of $2,000. Now, this news comes following recent journalistic reports out of South Korea, where Apple is expectedly eyeing up a base price of around $2,000 for the upcoming iPhone Fold, which would constitute a substantial discount compared to other rumoured prices we got in months prior of around $2,300 to $2,400. Now, this price isn't confirmed, and other notable leakers and sources who put the iPhone Fold at around $2,400 have been very credible in the past, with it previously being reported that the 256GB base storage variant of the iPhone Fold would go on sale for $2,325. So while it's possible this $2,000 USD price tag could be very real, the report did contain some contradictions, especially around that of the manufacturing of the physical device itself. In this report, it rightly suggests that for foldable devices, the cost of the hinge mechanism involved with them and the display of the phone itself can equal that of the AP. However, the report also then fails to take into account that Apple for the iPhone Fold is expected to leverage a different type of manufacturing technique for the hinge mechanism, and that is a modified hinge mechanism made out of liquid metal. And it's also expected that Apple is trying to minimize the display crease that is a common plague with foldable phones, and that is with a more expected and more advanced glass technology, that being the ultra thin flexible glass, otherwise known as UFG tech. And this glass will apparently apply a color filter called the COE, or the color filter on encapsulation, onto the protective encapsulation layer of the iPhone's OLED panel, resulting in the display itself being much more lighter and also much more efficient. Which, if we factor in this more advanced manufacturing technology, this will entail an increased cost of the manufacturing, which does throw it out onto this $2,000 price tag. And the final thing I do want to note on this rumoured price tag is Bloomberg's Mark Gurman recently included the iPhone Fold in the list of expected Ultra lineup of products. If we can infer from this Ultra naming, having the name scheme Ultra attached to your product usually will denote a higher price tag. And also, given the fact that the 2TB version of the iPhone Pro 17 Max can be purchased for this $2,000 price tag, it is expected that the iPhone Fold would launch at this higher price tag to justify its Ultra credentials. So trying to one up the Pro, this isn't a professional phone, this is the Ultra phone, so the one above, even though given that this is a foldable device, the performance, the camera isn't going to be that above the Pro line, but if we slap on the word Ultra, then we can charge more for it, which makes sense for the MacBook lineup potentially, which that is rumoured to launch with the higher tier M5 Max processors, maybe an M5 Ultra, and a tandem OLED display. So it really is Ultra on that hardware level inside and out, whereas the iPhone Fold is more a premium device just purely because it's a folding phone. Which is why some people in the industry expect that this might not be called the iPhone Fold at all, it might be called the iPhone Ultra instead. Which is one way Apple could differentiate this foldable device from all the other folds out there. You got the Samsung Fold, you got the Oppo Fold, the Google Fold, they're all called Fold. So it wouldn't be out of the ordinary for Apple to want to come out with a new naming scheme to redifferentiate their foldable device from all the others. Otherwise, they could potentially risk everyone having the perception of, oh, you just copied Samsung, you just copied Google by bringing your own Fold instead late to the market. Whereas if they can market around it being the Ultra iPhone, then it sets a clear distance away from all of the competitors in the foldable market already. But I do want to take a moment to discuss, the iPhone Fold in general. This could be my first foldable phone. If all of the recent specifications, all the recent leaks and rumours are to go by, I think this is going to be my first foldable phone. I know it's going to be ridiculously expensive, and $2,000 is a lot of money, but in the grand scheme of things, compared to all the other foldable phones out there, it's in line with what Samsung, Google, and all the other competitors are charging for their foldable offerings. But the thing that makes me want this phone is not the fact it's an iPhone. I'm already on iPhone. It's not the Apple Silicon inside and Apple software magic. It's none of that. It's mainly the size. Now, I love all types of phones. I'm pretty platform agnostic. I've had Samsung Flippies in the past, all the other types of Androids, Google phones, LGs, iPhones, you name it. I've been across the board and will continue to circle around. But the thing that makes this most appealing isn't just the Apple magic inside, it is the physical form factor of this phone. Now, it's expected that the out screen will be around 5.3 inches that you can then fold out to be at roughly around a 7-inch display. So I really like the idea of having a smaller phone when it's folded, because that is the thing I am missing the most. I got the iPhone 16 Pro because it was like the smallest phone I could get. 6.3 inches was the smallest phone that I could get, and I want something smaller. Truth be told, the iPhone mini, I would like to see a return. But if I can get a foldable phone that is 5.3 inches when unfolded, that's perfect for the size of my hands. I want a small phone because I hate holding big phones. When I have hold it with two hands so I can reach my thumb across the screen, I can't just use it one-handed. That's why I love the idea of a 5.3 inch display, and then I can fold it out to be something that could be comparable to an iPad mini when I actually want to be productive. I really do like that. Foldable phones in general. My partner has the Google 9 Pro Fold. I really love that, but it's just too big for me to hold in my hand when it's folded. But I love to be able to unfold it and just do stuff on it. So having a 5.3 inch outwards display, that's perfect for my hands to use in normal phone mode. But when I want to do something, consume some media, having something that could be like an iPad mini in size, honestly, I think that'd be the best of both worlds for me. Because I really do like a phone with a larger screen when it comes to content consumption, but it is just not practical for me to have, to put in my bag, to put in my pockets, to put in my hands. So yeah, I'm really excited for what the iPhone Fold could bring. Though I do want to talk about another recent rumour which could be a bit dissuading, and that is the lack of Face ID. Now, this isn't confirmed at all, and this is just purely speculation, but there's been some rumours that have pointed to the fact that this might not even launch with Face ID, which would be a massive disappointment. It's cited that potentially that Apple may have had to compromise on Face ID due to the thinness of the displays and the thinness of the phone on each side of the fold. I really do hope that's not the case. The iPhone Air was, quite frankly, an experiment, I believe, for the iPhone Fold, for how thin they can make a device, so they can take that research, take that knowledge, and apply it to the foldable device. And now the iPhone Air had Face ID, and that was incredibly thin. And that was an overall package spread across one screen, which was super thin. And I'd be happy if just one portion of the fold was that thinness, and the rest of the compute and batteries, etc., can be spread across both sides. The fact that they're able to cram that much compute power and that much screen Face ID camera space into just one small footprint makes me hopeful that Apple will be able to integrate Face ID into the overall footprint of the device. That they can spread a lot more components across both sides. Now, the physical gap between each screen could be the limiting factor, but I hope that Apple do make the compromise to not go for the world's thinnest foldable phone if they can still have Face ID, but given the iPhone Air was so incredibly thin and how that felt in the hands, honestly, don't try and make it thinner than that. That was perfect. And if anything, I wouldn't object to someone being thicker than an iPhone Air. But two iPhone Airs sandwiched together, that still feels really good in the hand, and something that I would really like. So, hopeful that Face ID will come to the iPhone Air, though a Touch ID implementation also wouldn't be bad to see as well, especially if this is going to be the Ultra phone. Give me both, please. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. Let me know all your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below around the iPhone Fold. Do you think that this will launch for the $200 price tag that has been rumoured recently? And are you interested in picking one up yourself? Let me know all of that in the comments down below. Anyway, I've been Madison Jordan from MLC Tech. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in a video soon. Goodbye for now.